Haroun Mir is co-founder and deputy director of the Afghanistan Centre for Research and Policy Studies. What do you make of what's going on, Mr. Mir?
We have been aware of these secret talks between President Karzai and the Pakistani military, and now that Sirajuddin Haqqani, a very feared terrorist network, which is directly linked to the latest attacks in Kabul, either against the Indian embassy, against the peace jirga a few weeks ago. And all of that, I think it is creating a lot of suspicion about the intention of President Karzai. But one thing is,
what is his intention?
Sure that I think President Karzai is surrendering himself to Pakistan, and he has reached the conclusion that NATO is unable to defeat Taliban, so he's looking towards Pakistan, and I think he surrendered himself to Pakistan. But one thing is sure, that if you want to move towards a political settlement in Afghanistan, I think Pakistan is only one actor among others in the region. There's India, Iran, Russia, and all these countries wants to play a role, and I don't think that Pakistan will be able to control the situation in Afghanistan alone if NATO is disinterested from Afghanistan.
Okay, how big a problem do you think Haqqani is to the United States?
I think the Haqqani network was also involved in the attacks against the U.S., especially when the 7 CIA agents were killed by a suicide bomber in Khost, and the latest attack against the American base in Bagram, which also ended in the casualties of American soldiers. So all of these attacks against Americans, civilians and soldiers will make it impossible for Americans to accept such a deal between Karzai and Haqqani.
But wouldn't they accept such a deal if the Americans were to lay down conditions, handing over Osama bin Laden, for example?
The problem is that there is no information, and I think it is President Karzai is not declaring to the Afghan people, at least to the parliament, what he has been involved in these secret talks with the Taliban and the Haqqani network. So the Afghan people in general are in the dark, so sometimes information leaks out through the media, but in general President Karzai has been silent about his secret negotiation with Taliban.
How do you think the public will react if and when this information comes out?
I'm sure President Karzai's coalition is very fragile in Kabul, and if people are convinced that President Karzai is surrendering himself to the Taliban in Pakistan, I'm sure that will be the start of a new civil war in Afghanistan, and a lot of people in the country will not accept that solution, and they will again return back to their own supporters in the region, and probably will see new militias rising in different parts of the country in order to defend themselves against the Taliban. And that is a recipe for another civil war. And if NATO remains passive in this negotiation between Kabul and Taliban, then that will be the start of a new civil war in Afghanistan.
And as you say, Pakistan is trying to get more involved. The spokesperson for the Pakistani army denied that this has happened, as has Hamid Karzai's office. Haroun Mir, thank you very much for talking to us.